Welcome to Entrepreneur Life. For me, Joel Campbell, I am an entrepreneur, and holy shit, we lost all the footage on the SD card in the GoPro for the last week. So Jordan was like, this is gonna be your best friend. I was like, this is my best friend. And my best friend has let me down at the very beginning of our friendship, and I'm very sad about it. I have got some footage actually on my phone, so I will do that. I'm not very well today, as you might hear. I'm okay, I'm all right, but I recorded bits of this, so I'm going to try and capture bits. I went full ADHD last week, so much so that my wife, Emma, even turned around to me and went, you haven't gone that full ADHD in so long. What the actual hell? And I was like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. So here's basically what happened. Was last week after Monday, so I had one of those days last Monday, so a week ago effectively, where I just couldn't get shit to click, and I just felt quite lost, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know I was bringing value. I just didn't know. I was just lost. So anyway, so I got home and I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know if I should work on this. I don't know if I should work on that. It wasn't helped by the fact that our attraction director was off on holiday. So he was off on holiday last week. Then our COO had to step away. So his boss had to step away from the business for 3 or 4 days that week. And unfortunately, my assistant was off as well last week. So it was a perfect storm. And suddenly I found the 3 people that are normally around me to support me with all the bits and pieces and make sure everything flows and works. None of them were there. So that was the Monday, I was just all over the shop and trying to work on other bits as well. So I got home and I thought, for those of you who've seen my office at home, it needs plastering, so I'll just take off this little bit of wallpaper, which I started to do, and basically took apart the entire room, ripped out 2 walls, the whole ceiling, an entire wall of wallpaper, and all the plaster, and a load of render, and it's just a mess, and there's fucking dust everywhere. And I was like, shit, what have I done? And then my wife came home and was like, what have you done? I was like, well, it needed doing. I thought I'd just take off a little bit of wallpaper, and then basically the wall fell down. And then I decided on the weekend, so that was kind of like the starting point. And I had to go away for a couple of days. So I was away in Somerset for an award ceremony with the guys in Shepton, which was really good. Monica won an award for Unsung Hero, which was great. Her work on the education program, so that was fantastic. And we got to share some really good stuff about Shepton. I came back, and then Friday evening got basically back to work in the house. And then Saturday I was like, fuck it, let's do our bedroom as well, because that needed sorting. So I took another wall down in between our bedroom and what used to be like a shower room effectively to make that room bigger, and spent 2 days stripping that. It was so bad that on Saturday there was so much dust, and I had a big dust mask on, but I'd been at it for a couple of days, and there was so much dust that at one point I was up a ladder and I was like, oh, it feels like my nose is running. I'm probably coming down with something, so I felt like my nose is running. So carried on for another few minutes and took my mask off, and I'd had a massive nosebleed. It was horrific. And I thought like, oh my God, like this is the end of my life. Because I just think the amount of dust. So that was bad times. Okay, so yeah, that's basically welcome to Joel's life and brain, and kind of when I do things, I go at them full throttle. That tea's really, really hot. It's literally burning me. That all happened in last week, and I guess that really culminated then. And I've not been feeling fantastic the last couple of days. So today's Tuesday. I think partially because of all the dust, but also just because I've just come down with something. So I was really run down last week. I worked a lot of hours. I was up very, very late every single day. I did a fair bit of traveling. I did lots of different stuff, basically. So that kind of ran me down a little bit. And yesterday I was prepping for today, because today and tomorrow were supposed to be marketing strategy days of moving the marketing from strategy into deployment. I did loads of really cool videos about this on the GoPro, which no one's ever going to see. And it's been a really interesting day today, which I'm going to talk about a little bit, and there'll be some bits that people have heard me say before, but I think it's important to go through them again, which is I really fucking struggled today. Like I really, really struggled. And I've said that to my team. I said, I found this really hard. And I said to my team a couple of times today, I don't know what I'm doing. And we're specifically talking about marketing. I was like, where we are now and where we're trying to go, I don't know what I'm doing. I am literally feeling my way through this. and I'm not quite sure where we go next. So that's, I guess in one instance that's good because I'm being very honest about it, but in the other instance it's not good because it doesn't fill them with a lot of confidence that I know what I'm doing. But I didn't really want to blag it because I think it had been quite obvious. They're all smart individuals, they'd have noticed, so I was just leveled with them. So anyway, we've got through the marketing stuff as best as we could this morning and spent some time on that. And then we've all had lunch together, so I brought the central guys from Cove Group together to have lunch. We've done that, we're sat out there, we're just chatting about different stuff, and I'm purposely asking different questions around what they're thinking at the moment, where we're going, what they're struggling with, what their findings working well, what's not working well. I'm sharing again my thoughts, and they're asking me what I think and where we're going. And I'm just very openly honest, going, guys, do you know what, at the moment I'm really struggling. And I got to a point where I said, I want to know from you guys in the room, and I think there's 12 of them in the room, I've gone, is this time for me to retire? Which I know you've heard before, but effectively completely step out of this. And is there anything anybody needs from me in the day-to-day run of what we do? And there's just a room of silence. And I'm like, guys, it sounds to me like you just don't need me any longer in this facility or in this position. And I think I just get in your way. I think I just disrupt it. I think I'm more harm than good. And unless anyone's going to say, no, we need you in here or we need you there, I'm going to just leave. I'm just going to go, I'm done. And they're all like, yeah, we're okay with that. Like, they're all fine with that. And it seemed to be a unanimous opinion that they were okay with it. And I met with James and Charlie afterwards, with our COO and our attraction director. And I sat with them and I was, again, very honest with them and said, like, guys, I just feel like I don't bring you value. And I think you're very polite to me by not telling me to get out the way. And I want you to tell me to fuck off more. Like, if I'm in the way, tell me. You know, if you need me and you want my advice or my thoughts, or you want me to look at something, I'll do it. I'll happily do it. But outside of that, I think you just need me out your way. I feel like I'm really slowing you down. And that seemed to be, the consensus. They were very good about it. They approached it nicely and sort of going, I do bring really good value in certain places, but yes, there is definitely a feeling of actually, when I come into things, it does disrupt it. So maybe it's because I'm not feeling 100%. Maybe it's because I had a hard week last week. I don't know. But I definitely feel like we've reached the end of me being involved, and I have to just now step away for whether it goes well or it doesn't, succeeds or fails. I think I've done as much as I can do at this phase. And if we're going to go on and grow, I don't see how we do that with me continuing to do what I'm doing. And most of these departments have grown past me. Yes, I've got some really good skill sets, I like to think, and I've got some really good ideas, and I see things that other people might not. But by and large, the departments have grown past me. And a good example of that is I sat with Monica last week at the awards ceremony. I sat next to her and we were chatting about the education program, and she was telling me about the next phase of program, the next pieces that she's been building, how that relates to critical thinking, how that's going to impact in terms of the education world, the difference that's going to make to tens of thousands of students across the country. I was like, this is amazing. And what really struck me was I had a vision for our Education Behind Bars program, and we achieved that vision about a year ago, year and a half, and we've been running it ever since really, really well. And what's been happening is I've then stepped away from it, and Monica's taken on and delivered it to the next phase and the next phase and the next phase, and her vision for it now has gone far beyond what I saw. And it was very clear to me now has been the time to let that baby kind of go and just let her crack on with that, and off it goes. And I think she'll do a fantastic job. I have complete faith in that. And I think that's probably true of a number of areas within what we do. So yeah, it's been a funny old day, and I think sort of maybe a week or so of building up to that, which has meant that I've had to destroy half my house, give myself like nosebleeds, and get to a point where I'm like, okay, cool. I think I can move away from this. And there's other things happening that I can't talk about, which I have been talking about, which no one will ever see. And I did do some bits last week on that, which we've started working on, which is another project or another business that we're looking at doing, that if it comes off, it's cool because we've been filming it from the starting point, and we'll keep doing that. And then there's other bits that we are looking at in terms of another business that we want to buy. So we're going to have another look at that tomorrow. And we're doing a lot of development work. There's some growth happening in Shrewsbury. We're trying to get things moving. I'm trying to get things over the line and really kind of moving, I guess, into sort of a little bit of development mode of doing more within the attractions, more within the prison sites. So yeah, that's kind of been where my week's at. I'm just going to double check my diary and see if I missed anything, because ultimately, that's kind of what happened. Well, I went on a train and it wasn't delayed twice. I think the closing message here really is that it's okay, regardless of the position you're in, it's okay to hold your hands up and go, do you know what? I'm struggling. I don't think I'm bringing value to this any longer. I don't know what I need to do differently to bring that value. And I think I'm just more of a hindrance than a help. And ultimately, I'd like to change something to switch, because I don't want to be a hindrance, I want to be a help. Probably slightly easier in my position because I can step out and let other people take it over, and I believe they'll do a fantastic job. But I don't want to be the problem or part of the problem. I'd rather be part of the solution. And it's funny when you are the problem and you have to remove yourself. So that's what I'm going to do. And like I say, success or failure now is ultimately down to the 70 people that work in the attraction division and what they deliver day in, day out, the teams that they work within, the managers that operate those processes and look after those people, the managers above that, the directors above that. And fundamentally, I guess the long and short of it is, as long as they're trading positively, it will all be okay. If they're not, then I guess it might not be. And I'll get a call to say, hey, we're running out of cash, which I don't think will happen, but I guess that's the worst that can happen. And really, I guess I just need to hand over the last of the bits that I've got on my desk and let somebody else start to drive that organisational piece forwards. I think that's it. So I'm going to sign off there after 10, 15 minutes, whatever it might be. This has been Entrepreneur Life with me, Joel Campbell, and I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur.